So my name's Gary, and never in my life has someone who met me said, you don't look like a Gary. And I'm insulted by that because Gary is not the name of a cool person. Yes, there have been some celebrities and athletes have been named Gary, Gary Cooper, Gary Carter, Gary Sanchez, but those people were cool because they overcame being named Gary. You know that Gary's not a cool name because there's never been a cool fictional Gary in the movies. Gary's the guy that Meg Ryan is dating in the beginning of the movie before she meets Tom Hanks. There's no cool Garys in the movies. It's not. The name is Bond. Gary Bond. There's no Gary Balboa. It wasn't Gary Jones and the Temple of Doom. To give you an idea of how uncool Gary is, imagine someone said, "Hey, I just got a big promotion, but I have to relocate for my job." And you said, "Oh, where are you moving to?" And they say, "Gary, Indiana." This pandemic has been hard, and there's a lot of things that we're not able to do that we used to be able to do all the time, like go to restaurants or weddings or shop, in retail stores. And I have to say, I don't really miss those things, especially restaurants. I don't like when I go to fancy restaurants and they judge me and shame me because I like to drink water. So they'll ask, "What will you be drinking tonight?" And you have to apologetically say, "Just water." Then they'll ask, "Is that bottled or tap? Tap water. Will that be from the urinal or from the stall?" What can I say? I like water. And it's good for them if I drink water. Water is what I use to wash down the food so that I can eat more food. I swear one day I'm going to go to a restaurant that's so fancy, they're going to put me into like a vacuum chamber and suck out all the oxygen. And they're going to say, "So what will you be breathing tonight?" And I'm going to be like, "Air." Would that be bottled air or tap air? I don't like any restaurant where they make me make too many decisions about how the food is prepared. Like they bring you salad and they start putting pepper on the salad and ask you, when to stop. How am I supposed to know when to stop? I haven't even tasted the salad yet. And even if I did taste the salad, I don't know how much pepper is right. Why don't you just put the right amount of pepper on the salad to begin with? If I knew how much pepper would go on the salad, I wouldn't be at a restaurant. I'd be home cooking for myself. Waiters are often trying to push you into getting things you don't want. Will you be having an appetizer? Will you be having dessert? So I figured out a way to get waiters to stop doing this. What I do is I have one of these little plastic trays that I put on the table, and I put like $20 bills, stack them up, and I put a little sign that says tip slash unnecessary food purchases. And that way, when the waiter says, "So will you be having an appetizer?" I reach for the tray and say, "I think I will." At the end of the meal, "Will you be having for dessert?" "Well, as long as you're paying for it." Many people have had to postpone their weddings, which is fine with me, because that ceremony is way too long. Like that part where they say, "Do you promise to stay with this person for better or for worse, for richer or for poorer, in sickness and in health?" Why say all that? Of course you're going to stay with the person if things are great, if you're rich and you're healthy. They should just say, "Do you promise to stay with this person for worse, for poorer, and in sickness?" Then there's the part where they say, "If anyone here knows any reason why this couple should not be married, speak now or forever hold your peace." Who's going to say something at that time? It's way too late in the process. If they really want my input, what they need to do is ask me that question on the RSVP card. where they have those check boxes where it says, are you going to be eating the fish, the chicken, or the vegetarian option? They could have a second question that says, do you think this marriage will last 6 months, 3 years, or 40 years? I did most of my shopping online during the pandemic, and one type of store I really don't miss is the shoe store. Because if they don't have your size, they always lie to you. You say, okay, I'm a size 10. Have you got my shoes in this size? No, no, in this, we only have size 11. But don't worry, uh, this shoe runs small. Okay, well, how about this one? Well, that one we only have in a size 9, but that's okay because these shoes run big. So what I do is I take the smaller shoes and they tell me they cost $80, so I hand the guy 60. And when he says this isn't enough, I say, that's okay. These bills run big. My social interactions during the pandemic have all been either on Zoom or with masks on. And I worry that I've developed some bad habits that I'm going to have trouble breaking when I eventually get reintroduced into society. Like when you're wearing a mask, nobody can see your expression at all. And it's very liberating. You don't have to smile at things. You can just yawn in someone's face while they're in the middle of a boring story. The opposite goes for Zoom, where everyone can see your expression, and for all you know, everybody's staring at you at that moment when you're in a group Zoom chat. So for those, you have to exaggerate your expressions. If they tell you, my grandmother died of COVID, you have to furrow your brow and shake your head. Someone else got COVID, another relative, but they recovered perfectly. You have to smile and nod. Sometimes I forget that I'm not wearing my mask and I'm listening to the story and not making the appropriate expression. I've also been with people while I'm wearing my mask and I forget that I'm not on Zoom and I'm making the exaggerated expressions under the mask. Okay, well, that does it for the comedy I wrote during the pandemic. I hope you liked it. Thanks a lot for watching.